It's not every day that Foundries decide to start an entire factory for 3D printing. So you're obviously, you see some benefit in the technology.
Yes.
Right?
We saw the molds coming to us, and we saw the difference what it can do in the manufacturing.
Okay, so customers were sending you mold to pour into.
Yeah. And this is where we saw that this can really catapult PK to the next level.
So can you give us a little understanding about how sand printing works and how the technology is benefiting you?
If you ask me, in 3D printing, the biggest challenge is, I think they have got 14 installations like this in the world.
Is that the reason why this facility is located in the airport complex?
Yes, exactly. So this is becoming again a very big market. So this is what we feel more than money. This connects with the whole larger community.
Welcome back everybody to the Foundry Podcast. Today we find ourselves here in Bangalore at PeeKay Steel's Experience Center. That's what you call it, right, Mr. Shanavaz?
Yes, yeah.
Welcome on the show.
Thank you.
Right, thank you so much for inviting here.
Pleasure,
it's been a real pleasure walking around. In fact, Mr. Fazjad gave us a really good tour in the morning.
Yeah.
Showed us how we can see planes taking off, the entire center, the R&D that you have for sand printing.
Yeah.
So Mr. Shanavaz is the joint managing director for PeeKay Steel, a very large foundry. I think most of you have already heard about it. They have this facility especially for 3D. So that is what we are here to cover on the podcast today, right? So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Sir, give us a little understanding of what exactly the Peekay Group is doing currently, just for some context for people who are maybe not familiar.
Yeah. So Peekay Group is a industrial family group. We are a third generation. I am actually representing the third generation. Started by my grandfather, and now we have grown, right from a trading company, and then each generation has contributed to the growth of the group. So my grandfather started as a trading company. My father is the one who really built the empire from a trading to a manufacturing empire. And then, so initially we started in the food sector, and then we diversified into steel, which was a big move taken by my father.
The rolling mills.
Yes, right. In the steel rolling mills, and also then backward integration to steel ingots, billets,
correct.
and so on.
Right.
On that point of view was the real momentum for the growth.
Correct.
Then the third generation, which is represented by my elder brother and myself, and there's a middle brother in between. We actually, both my brothers are the ones who actually founded this value addition into the casting space.
Right.
So we didn't want to be basically driven with a commodity space. We wanted to, the real growth mindset was to be associated with good people. We were all engineers. We were educated as engineers by our parents. So we wanted to do value addition with respect to that space. And that is how the casting industry, we felt that, it could really use our skill sets. And it was something that, we felt that, yes, we could be learning a lot. And that's how in the mid-90s, we came into the casting industry.
Yeah, I think it was 1995 when you started into castings.
Yeah.
That's great. So I think you're approaching your 30th anniversary next year.
Yes.
So there'll be a lot of celebrations. I hope we'll be back to maybe be a part of that. So that's really amazing. So this entire facility is now by 3D.
Yeah.
Right? It's not every day that Foundries decide to start an entire factory for 3D printing.
Yeah.
So you're obviously, you see some benefit in the technology.
Yes.
Right? So Mr. Shanavaz, tell us a little bit about this facility and why 3D printing. What does it have to offer for the foundry industry?
So we were fortunate, or we're still fortunate that we have the top multinational companies, Fortune 500 companies working for us as our customers. So all these, most of the this initiation to come into 3D printing evolved with our growth mindset always. We wanted to be, the motto was, we want to be different from the rest of the competition. And always we used to think with that mindset, how we can be different and what value we can add on a day-to-day basis. So with this thought process, we always used to look on the Western side, because that's where the innovation comes from. So we always associate, with good, technologists or technocrats, and we used to go all the time for all the shows around the world in Germany
Right.
and in the US, and that's how we got to see the 3D printing capabilities right from 2004 GIFA onwards in Germany. And before, that's when really we saw that yes, 3D printing is coming into the foundry industry. Then our customers were also instrumental, like big corporations. They were the initial ones to take that leap and invest in 3D printing. We saw the molds coming to us, and we saw the difference what it can do in the manufacturing.
Okay, so customers were sending you mold to pour into.
Yeah.
Okay, this was about how many years ago?
That was around 6 years back.
6 years back.
6 years back.
So you all basically had a preview of the technology from the customer end, and
Yeah.
you all had a chance to understand that okay, this is a new technology that is actually coming in.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's
That's
about
the starting point.
That's the starting
and
point.
and then we saw that the customers were looking at the angle of reducing the lead time.
Right.
And for us, we saw that if this can be also utilized more in in how the metal design, how the flow of metal can be also streamlined.
Right.
We saw that there are certain shapes that can be done, which we were constrained with a conventional process. So we could look at spiral gatings, reduce the turbulence of the metal flow, and as you know, steel is poured at very high temperatures. The reoxidation defects, the laminar flow, the turbulence can be minimized. Then it can really add value to the productivity in the foundry by improving the quality. So this is where we saw that our main strategy is always to see that how we can improve the productivity.
Right.
And we saw this as a big catalyst, because we see that now, as we all know, India castings are growing.
Correct.
Next to China, because everybody is coming to us because of the cheap labor cost.
Correct.
Or it's the best cost country now.
Right.
But this is not sustainable. We know that with the inflationary pressure, these costs are going up on a continuous basis, and in the last decade itself, we have seen our labor costs going at the rate of 12% year on year. So we are, in fact, if you see that way, in more than 10 years, it's more than double. So if this is the way that we are going to get impacted, customers won't pay for the extra cost.
Right.
Unless they see that what is the value proposition that you're bringing in. And this is where we saw that if with better quality, better with these kind of applied technologies, we can improve the quality and we can reduce the working hours on the casting. That is when we can be sustainable. So for us, sustainability concept also we felt is all connected together. We can reduce the scope 1 and the scope 2 emissions, and this is where we saw that this can really catapult PK to the next level
right.
of growth, and also go into different areas of not like a per kg casting concept.
Correct.
We could go into high value added
Right.
components, which still was in the Western world or in the Eastern world also. This could become also a marketing point for us, where we can tell to our customers, yes, we can do highly critical components with a much more easier manner than what conventionally we will be able to do.
Correct. I think that's a very important point, because today I think foundries need to look at their product as a means to an end, not just something that they keep producing, but something that's actually going to be fitted somewhere, how they can add value, how they can differentiate their castings. That's something they need to be looking at. Assemblies.
Yes.
Something even low batch quantities. There's still a lot of value addition that you can do.
Yeah.
It's not only about automation
Yes.
and high amount of output.
Correct.
So that's
Correct.
something that somebody else has
Yes.
covered on the podcast. So it's really nice that you touched on that topic. So if we go into 3D printing now, right? because you're not actually printing, I think, plastic right now. You're not working with polymers. You're in fact printing sand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So can you give us a little understanding about how sand printing works and how the technology is benefiting you? Like you said, you got molds from customers earlier and you poured into it. Is that how this process started?
Yes, and mainly as we talked about, time is money,
Right.
and we felt that yes, if the pattern making time is very high and as I don't know whether your viewers know, PK makes very big castings, so the tooling time is quite significant in the total manufacturing process. So it's around 30%. In some cases, it goes up to even 40%. So this time we can compress with directly printing it into the mold.
Right.
And that is where, with export driven customers that we have, they see value in that point of view, that time is money and we can compress the lead times.
So just for understanding, what is the size of mold that you can print?
We can print 4 meter by 2 meter by 1 meter is the single print size. But this is also, there's no limitation because you can do different segments and then you can keep adding,
join them together
by segments. So size is not at all a limitation at all.
Right.
And this is the 14th largest. I think they have got 14 installations like this in the world. And this size, that's what differentiates us from the competition.
So you're actually bringing like Indian Foundries onto a very, very good global map.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'd like to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking a step for the foundry industry in India. So a little more follow-up questions with regard to 3D printing. Is this like complete with a flask? Because you're saying there's no limitation to the size you can print. That means the molds don't have to have a flask around it.
No,
right?
you can as well, but there are certain times where, because on the safety point of view, we do this as a hybrid process. See, now that is something that it's only applied innovation.
Correct.
Now, because cost is a big driver, as you know. So what we are also giving value proposition to customers is, see, either we try to make sure that we just print the shells in 3D printing, and still we use conventional sand as a backing, and then do it in a flask as well.
Correct.
So that even when cost is a driver,
right.
So we try to see that that way also we are optimizing the cost for the customer point of view.
Right.
And that is why we feel that this is, if the design capability is brought in to 3D printing, now we are bringing design only of metal flow into this. But if our customers can redesign the product itself and make it much more on the application side, they can make it a value proposition to the end user,
right.
That they can, even though the design cost is still there, but they can give more value to the end user and say that the same product can be substituting 2 or 3 sizes and get it into one size.
There's also a very good point you added, because conventional processes did not allow like drafts, right? Maybe like tapers, they need a taper for pattern withdrawal. Now with 3D printing, you can actually reduce the weight of a casting because you don't have to withdraw the pattern. Right? You can also reduce the weight. You can maybe shrink the size down. So you have all those design advantages that were not there earlier.
Yes.
So that's a really good point that
absolutely
you added.
And then that's where the fluid dynamics, the flow path, whereas now we make mostly in components for pumps and valves, the CFD computational fluid dynamics that they do by the designers. Now the hydraulic passages, there's no limitation, so they can create any kind of passages with 3D printing, which earlier we might say no, it's not possible in a conventional process. So this is where that we are we decided also that we will put this investment separately as a separate vertical, because we feel that if the design ecosystem changes, you can really take the benefit of 3D printing to the next level.
Right.
So this is where we thought that we internally debated why this 3D printing machine, the first thing that we had in the board was why should we put it outside as an independent area? Why? Because there's a challenge of transportation. But now, then we internally debated and said, no, it also requires a design thinking capability. We need software skills. We need better talent. Our customers should be able to come, R&D designers from our customers should be able to easily access. They should come and see what we are able to do, work together, do a co-engineering. Then we decided that it's better that, we could make it as a separate investment. And also we saw that with 3D printing, we can also diversify into aerospace, medical equipments, where already it's a very matured market in
Right.
3D printing.
Right.
But whereas in the foundry, it is still was seen as not so I would say accepted because on the cost pressure.
Correct.
So I think it's a matter of time. Even I feel smaller businesses also can invest in design capabilities, and rather than going cost driven selling, they can go for a design based selling and a customized design based selling.
Right.
And that is where I think the Western world saw this as a way of bringing in manufacturing back to their ecosystem.
Right.
But I think we in India, we are very good to adapt, and also we are able to use applied innovation much better. We saw this as an opportunity, and we were the first ones to invest
Correct.
in this level and say, hey, we could give you a better lead times, even though our sailing times are higher.
Correct.
So that it will be
Correct.
you'll
Right.
still save costs by not buying it from a high cost
Correct.
source in their region.
So I completely see the point why this facility is located separately, apart from the three, I think two foundries and one machine shop that you have currently in operation. So it also doesn't affect with the inherent biases that maybe a foundry person will already have working at these foundries. They come here with a fresh mind. You are able to attract talent from Bangalore who has a very good IT infrastructure, right? So that is, I think, what the objective was.
Exactly.
Right?
And then
So that's
thanks to, as you said, Bangalore being a very technology oriented space.
Correct.
Where we see manufacturing also, there are a lot of technology based robotics, automation, metal printing equipments are being manufactured. Indian Institute of Science, already from the academia side also, there's a lot of collaboration with industry and academia together. Companies like Wipro already has been the forerunner
Right.
in this space.
Right.
So, and then even aerospace being the hub in Bangalore,
Right.
like companies like from Boeing to to ISRO to all these big giants, HAL, they're already established in Bangalore. So that's what we realized that, and then this is the time that we need to make these baby steps, make sure that we can focus that growth mindset into high sectors like aerospace, defense, medical, and so on. And then we said, okay, let's invest initially in a sand printing machine. The fundamentals are still the same, and the software skills, the design for additive manufacturing, DFAM, everything we can create that skill set in Bangalore,
Right.
being all this ecosystem being here. And then we could look at a long-term growth strategy. So now it's been 2 years since we have been operational here. So we have made a business plan where within 5 years we need to achieve a certain milestone, and within the next 10 years as a decade we want PK to get into sectors in aerospace and defense.
Okay.
And
Is that the
medical.
reason why this facility is located in the airport complex?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
One was that, one of the reason. Second is connectivity as well, because
Right.
customers, as I told you, the engineering design capability, engineers, it should be easily accessible for them also to come and work with us together.
Correct.
So being closer to the airport really helps.
Right.
And that's one aspect. The second aspect is PK also being now we are a mid-sized corporate. where we are $100 million company thanks to all the effort of all the team of PK. So we have a vision also to go even if the business scenario supports us, we want to go public, want to go into more specialty steel sectors. So PK is predominantly now a specialty steel company in the castings form. We also have the vision laid out to diversify that into forged and rolled products as well. So that is also another primary objective, that we want to professionalize, get better technologists to work with us, whether it is from within India or outside India. And Bangalore is known to attract the talent from outside as well. So that's all this put together. Then we decided that yes, taking a space near the airport and the vision of Bangalore airport, as you all know, is becoming the third largest airport in the country, the fastest growing airport in the country. And yes, we were amazed by what infrastructure the Bangalore airport has created, and the vision. And as a result, I think I've decided to come shift to Bangalore and even create. We have also invested in almost a $30 million facility of a third manufacturing facility 90 kilometers away from this airport. So we have done a lot of investments looking into this
as a keystone area, very strategic sort of objective. So to emphasize or to home in how close this is to the airport, I'll be probably taking a flight in a 3 hours time, right? And I'm literally going to walk to the airport. In fact, from your terrace, Fazjad was just showing me that there are planes taking off. And you can literally, you have to cover your ears. It's that close. It's just opposite the wall.
It's just so 2-3 minutes drive
fantastic. From. That's really fun. So just to finish off with 3D printing, in fact, you're also helping other foundries by printing molds for them, right? So that's something you're also enabling other foundries to take advantage of the technology by having the resources to do so. That is something I think that is fantastic. Can you speak a little bit about that as well?
So initially, when we know that 3D printing is not an immediate solution, on a return on investment point of view, but we saw that if you make it as an engineering service center and we can also service other customers, then the viability also for that is better. So that's how we thought we'll keep this away from our foundries, so that even for prototyping into different areas. So now we are very fortunate because of this location. Customers like Ashok Leyland, Bajaj Auto, even for that matter, Taiwan manufacturers to Ola for the electric engines, they all have taken advantage, of this technology, and that's really helping us now. So we do 50 to 60% for our in-house development, and 30 to 40% we are now catering to these sectors in automotive and as well as aerospace sector. So that will give us also a good foundation for us to diversify going forward.
That's amazing. So that's really something, because you're also contributing to the foundry industry overall by allowing them to experience the technology and use it for their own prototyping. So that's good. I wanted to touch a little bit about your artifacts that you have going on in the future, right? Because I think you mentioned that you're starting to enter B2C markets, right? So tell us a little bit about this artifact.
That's also something we saw the West doing this, that now India, as you know, we are growing very substantially. We see that the art is becoming already, it was very synonymous with our rich culture, and now with India being a global power and in the journey to become a developed country, a lot of HNIs and even technology oriented companies are seeing art as a medium to show the prosperity. So we saw this 3D printing as a very nice way to do this much faster. So what we are able to do now is with scanning technologies, we are able to scan immediately and then make using the DFAM as a software tool, do the modeling, and then we can print it very easily. Then we cast it like in stainless steel or brass or bronze, and then the sculptures can work on it as a hybrid model to fine tune it,
Right.
because still the art is something you need that personalization that way. So now as a result, art becomes much faster,
Right.
and designers can customize it very
At scale.
And so this is not only in artifacts. Artifacts means not only sculptures or anything at your home you want to customize. So this is becoming again a very big market, because of the e-commerce and anybody
and the amount of disposable income that people have nowadays.
Yes, yes.
That's
so we see this as, and then it gives us a lot of pleasure that as a B2B, it's more of a boring, I would say not boring in the sense, it's a monotonous thing that we make pumps, turbines, and so for a common man, it doesn't connect. Okay, you're making something for an engineering sector, but then we want anybody to be impacted with this, and that's how casting means it's a mother industry. You can do anything with this. So now that's how it gives us a lot of pleasure that any common man walking in can connect with the organization. So this is what we feel more than money. This connects with the whole larger community also as a whole, and how it can impact the life of everybody. So this is how we feel that it can bring life to the organization.
Correct.
By bringing in creativity.
Also, you'll be contributing to a larger audience now.
Yeah.
You'll be benefiting more heads.
Yes.
So that's another thing that probably the vision of the group is trying to pursue. So that drives us into our last point. You're trying to have a lot of initiatives with students coming here, right? Upskilling. You're trying to maybe get a lot of people into the foundry industry through various things like artifacts or 3D printing. You're attracting a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So what is that objective about?
Yeah. So that is something, yes. Now, I think as a whole, we see that there's a lot of emerging technologies and everything is available now, but the traction will come only if how many people are actually impacted and how many people are, using this technology more and more. So if you ask me, in 3D printing, the biggest challenge is, the designers have to use this effectively, and that should start right from the schooling itself, because product design, now we know that there are a lot of academic institutions revolving around product design as well. Now if you see Apple or companies like Tesla, they have already revolutionized product design in a way which connects with their selling also with that design as a differentiator. So now people are becoming more and more aware that we need to use these skill sets, but then upskilling becomes a challenge here, because it should start from schooling onwards, where the softwares are used, and then you need a cross-functional team where literally an artist can do a good design, but then you need a cross-functional team from the application side who should work along with this team and create something unique as a product. So this is very, very important, I would personally feel. And as a result, what we are doing this, we are opening up this facility, signing MOUs with who is resonating this vision of ours with their vision. And this is a common point where we have MOUs signed. We allow the students to come and intern with us, and then he can work on if he has a beautiful design, and if we feel that the software is good, we can allow them to print in our machines He can personalize it, with it being his product or being his project.
Correct.
And this kind of, we are open to making these initiatives also, and we're opening up to good institutions and good, designers who can make use of this.
Right. So to summarize, you're enabling foundries through 3D printing. You're enabling consumers through sculptures, 3D artifacts. You're enabling students to maybe give some crystallized form to their ideas.
Yep.
Right. You'd be enabling them to you basically have like a material presentation of what they have in their heads.
Exactly.
Right. So that's really amazing. The Peekay Group is expanding their horizons and bringing a lot of minds together. That's fantastic. I have a personal question before we wrap up. I'm a foundry person right now.
Yep.
A lot of people, I mean, our audience is entirely foundry based. So if a person like me today is I'm 31, I'm running a small foundry, and how do I look at, like you were telling me this a little bit off camera, how I can grow my foundry, how I need to think differently, right? What do you see is a limitation that I have currently and I should work on? And what is something that we have a lot of that we should maybe put into practice that is an advantage for us? So how can we progress in our careers, basically?
I think yes. I think it's a question that is not only to you, to even to us as well as PK. See, I feel, one of the biggest challenge that we all face, is manufacturing sector is not able to retain talent or grow to a level like a technology-based company. There, predominantly the underlying fact is what? It's only we are not able to make profitability at a certain level, which these tech companies can do. So, because what manufacturing is all about related to manpower, and how we are able to optimize this with better technology, better quality, by which we can reduce the number of people and improve the quality of the jobs that we have and pay better, is what will help us in the longer run. Because having, yes, volume, people are required, but how can we meet the growth aspiration of our employees or our team members, is only with, either you have to grow the top line, and then you also grow on a scalability basis. The other way to grow is, even if the top line does not grow, how can we improve the quality and still improve our productivity, by which we all can survive? So this is something, it's very easy to say but very difficult to execute. Even
Right.
I would say, PK, we are also, now I will tell you very openly, we are blessed because we have export driven customers in our kitty who's able to, who's able to support us with a better realization. But this is not sustainable going forward. We know that competition like China, now there are countries like Vietnam, other best cost countries are also emerging now. Even in textiles, we see Bangladesh and so many, other,
Right.
Turkey and all those sectors. Other countries are also equally improving their productivity and giving a run to India in the manufacturing space. So I think it's about how we can use a better technology, how we can improve the total quality of our product, multi-skill our employees, so that, people, now generally the mindset is in a manufacturing, I'll only do this job. But whereas in the West or East, when we go, a welder will say, I can do grinding as well, or I will do not only grinding, I will even do inspection also. So this
Right.
is something that I think, we also need to multi-skill,
Multifaceted,
multi-skilling,
Right.
and then for that training will be required,
Right.
and for that we need to put in extra money initially.
Right.
And this is a challenge. I know that we are all, pressed for capital, and this is a chicken and egg story. Everybody says, yes, if I have the profit, then I can put back into training.
What comes first, if you could summarize it? Is it like a binary answer, or is it something that...
I think the answer is, you need to have a growth mindset. You need to be rich in your mind. and say that, I need to value, there should be, value proposition in everything. And that's where, and that comes from a better thoughts, and then better thoughts come into better words, and then it comes into actions.
Right.
So that's what I
And
would
better
say
results.
eventually.
Right.
That's what I think is the success mantra. That's what I personally believe.
Right, right. So thank you so much for giving us a lot about what PK is doing, helping us, obviously connecting the various people in society, right? And I think, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
No, I just wish that we could have more better team, because ultimately we can all grow only if we have the right environment, the right team, and the right framework.
Right, right. In closing, I think we forgot to mention there's a lot of greenery around us. So this entire facility is sort of emphasizing sustainability.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
It's a lead accredited facility, and in fact, being airport also, that's where we have learned a lot. Also, the the Bangalore International Airport Limited, as you know, is advocating sustainability in a big way. So even the materials that we used, even the water conservation. So we also applied that similar principles in building this facility, and that's how the greenery,
Right.
water management, and in fact using sustainable materials, we followed from the airport's vision,
Right.
and that's how we are doing it now.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Mr. Shanavaz. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, pleasure.
And thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And it's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Where can we find you very quickly?
I'm available in LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
As
I think,
Shanavaz.
We're going to put his LinkedIn profile URL in the description, so you can probably reach him out on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you can, we can constantly do this and improve our reach and community. Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.